Well, the town of Clarence is going through a town-wide property reassessment. Many people have received their notices in the mail. So tonight we're joined by Town Supervisor Patrick Casilio to learn more about this. We welcome you, Supervisor, and those assessment notices going out in Clarence. What feedback are you getting from homeowners, and what don't people seem to understand about this?
So far, the feedback's been pretty good. We've had a couple people every day coming into town hall. We do have an appeal process set up that's available on our website. So really, it's not necessary for people to come to town hall to file the paperwork. They can get all the information they need for market analysis and the proper forms to file by the end of the month that they might want to debate the value of their home. I think the surprising thing with anybody that knows that their house was reassessed, that their taxes are going to go up. That's not necessarily true. For town of Clarence, we reassess the whole town every 4 years, and we were behind only 80% of value on homes, but we're certainly not going to raise our taxes in Clarence 30%. During my tenure, I've not raised taxes. I don't plan on raising taxes the next budget. When we get the new assessment in with the town, I'll be lowering our tax rate to neutralize any tax increase that somebody has due to the value of their home.
Okay, that I'm sure is welcome news for Clarence residents. You mentioned there, you assess at 80% of full value. Why not 100%? The state is encouraging
I'm sorry, I said that. We want to maintain 100%, but we had fallen behind quickly to only being 80% of value. Homes in Clarence are sold quickly. Sometimes in days, sometimes in hours, especially ranch homes, the values increased on them tremendously. And we had fallen behind on our assessed value for the town, so we wanted to get back to 100% assessment. I think it's important for residents to understand, too, when you do fall behind, the state assigns an equalization rate, and that generally costs residents more money if you're following an equalization rate because you lose a couple points through that process versus being at 100% assessed value.
Well, now the rub always comes when you set the tax levy, and as you mentioned, you have some ideas about what you're going to do there. When will that happen?
Our budget is set in September. The school budget is set over the summer. The county budget is set in the fall also. And most agencies come in line with the new assessment. I know the school systems across New York State are being taxed. They're not getting as much money out of Albany as they thought. But even the town of Clarence school system has always lowered their tax rate as assessments have went up.
As you point out, Supervisor, there is a high demand for housing in Clarence, in part because you kept a tight rein on new housing being built in the town. Why is that?
You know, we want to try and keep the town of Clarence as green as possible. We do have a limited sewer capacity. Last month, we only issued 2 building permits. There is going to be no more large Meadow Lakes or Spalding Green type developments. We're not zoned for developments like that in our ag areas. So, you know, a 400 home development is not coming to the town of Clarence. We have about 100 home development plan that's been planned over 20 years that we're going through right now, but there's nothing on the drawing boards now for new developments in the town of Clarence.
Very interesting. Are you seeing homeowners on edge about these new assessments, in part because of what's happening next door in Amherst with their reassessments on top of that large tax increase there?
I think the residents know in Clarence that I don't raise taxes. I've been at a 0% tax rate my entire 10 years, so I think they're comfortable with that. I think some fear that because their house is worth 30% more, that you know, even keeping the tax rate the same, they'd be paying 30% more taxes. Then that's not going to happen. I'm definitely lowering our tax rate like I've done over the past 10 years. Every time our assessments have went up, value in the town, I've lowered our tax rate, and I'll continue to do that.
Well, as I say, I'm sure that many residents in Clarence will be happy to hear that. Supervisor Patrick Casilio, we thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be following up on this in the fall when the tax levy comes out.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Well, with that, we'll head over